Well, the first powder horns were actually powdered flasks. The powder horn is a colonial invention. We worked from necessity. We cut a horn off a cow, pulled out the corn, the core of the horn, put a wooden butt in, put a wooden plug in, perfect.
Can you explain the actual process? What are the steps, step by step, that you do in actually making the horn?
Sure, it's very simple. We take a rendered cow horn, a cow horn that has the core taken out. We soak those in a bucket of water. From there, we'll move to a vise with some type of mandrel in it. We'll force the horn down over the top of the mandrel. Take a sharp scraping tool, such as a knife or some type of a piece of broken glass, and we will scrape that rough exterior off that the cow has put on over the years. After that's been taken off, we have a better picture of what the horn body looks like, whether it's white, whether it's dark, what we can do with this horn. From that point, what we'll do is we can drill a hole in the spout. The hole is varied from different horner to horner. Then you line your horn and you start your carving. At the different breaks in the horn, you will use different shaped files, and you will get a different result, whether it's a ditch, whether it's a straight. And then we'll go back in with the same tools carpenters use as scraping tools, fine scraping tools, and we will further eliminate any imperfections in the horn. From that point, we can cut the butt to the length of the horn that we want, heat it, put the butt on, and then we have a sealed vessel.
I noticed that in many of the pictures of powder horns that they are often ornately decorated or written upon. You had mentioned some about engraving. Why do people do this? How is this done? By what process?
Again, we go back to Europe. When the master took on a job, such as, let's say, a powder horn for a wheel-lock pistol, the endeavor to make a wheel-lock pistol and the embellishment on that wheel-lock pistol, how fancy it was, dictated the person probably had money. And if you're going to spend all that money to make an ornate vessel, carry gunpowder, or carry a gun, an ornate gun, you're going to want an ornate vessel to carry the powder. So here we have instances, we have different references in books that we can look in to see these old vessels, and they're just phenomenal.
Wow.
It's truly an art form in itself.
How was engraving on the powder horn different from what they call scrimshaw? Is there a difference, and what tools did you use? How is that?
Well, up until the time when the term scrimshaw started being widely used, engraving everything was engraved. If it had anything incised into it, whether it be bone, horn, ivory, metal, anything, even on wood, it was engraved.
And by incised, you mean to sort of carve into,
Cut.
correct? Yes.
Exactly. I believe it was 1822, it's the first reference that we find scrimshaw. It was in a log of the ship's, the category of what the men were doing to pass their time. And it was a German ship, a whaler, and there was no wind at all. And there was no wind for 2 weeks. So the ship sat idle and did nothing. In the logbook it says, men spent their time scrimshunting. And when it was Englishized, they said scrimshaw.
I see.
And then men who professionally turned out incised whale's teeth, different ladies' articles, combs, all kind of different items that they made on these ships. It just evolved into the scrimshaw and scrimshander. This is a primer horn, or could be used for salt or spices. But if you look at it and notice the carving in it, again, scrimshaw as an overall definition is this. It doesn't have to be engraved. It could be small boxes. It could be busks that help the ladies stand straight. It could be many different things. But if you look closely at the artwork, you have to keep in mind the old maps and the monsters coming out of the water.
Oh, like what is it, Leviathan?
This is a monster horn.
Oh, wow.
and he's eating a dolphin. This should be like that, but he's eating a dolphin.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Wow.
And you notice there's jewels in the eyes.
Yeah.
And they did that a lot, especially a lot of amber. But occasionally I see a ruby or maybe an emerald.